inaugural, or I should say, I guess technically second episode of Smart Thinking, because somebody, being myself, couldn't figure out how to edit stuff until recently. So soon we will be in color, live in color. And
yeah, it's nice to have someone competent behind the wheel finally.
Yeah.
Even though you were the person who was initially not competent, now you are.
Sure. We'll it's a learning progress, but we got a really jam-packed episode of Dynamite, so I'm actually really excited that this is the first episode that we'll upload, given the amount of content that we have to go over tonight.
It's my first time. Be gentle.
That said, I'm gonna start off and just say holy shit. By the way, P.S. This isn't a PG podcast.
This isn't a WWE podcast.
Exactly, I'm alluding to. So I didn't think we'd start off with an IWGP US title. I know we were getting it. What do you think about actually starting off with the IWGP title?
Talk about opening hot. I mean, and you know, I wrote this down too. There's something about the way that JR's voice right before the theme song hits.
Yeah,
we just see a classic backstage shot of Mox and Nagata, who I've heard a lot about, like, people not knowing who he is. Look, man, this is what wrestling's all about. We're getting people over. This guy's coming over. He's a legend. And I learned a lot about him just through him being here. You know, I'm not the biggest, you know, New Japan mark or just Japanese wrestling mark in general. But I thought it was really cool to find out new things about this new wrestler I know about, who's not a new wrestler, who's actually a legend, apparently. And it's really awesome. I enjoyed it, and I thought it was there's just something about Jim right before the show opens up, and hearing him full tilt, hyping up a match and hyping up the episode in general. So sure. I love that. I love the way AEW tends to open up hot almost every week somehow.
Speaking of opening up hot, Moxley comes out to a new theme song, which I knew you would want to, which you would pop for.
He came out to Wild Thing. What was that about? That's got to be something he does. Somebody out there in the comments or something, tell me if that's like a thing or what the reason behind that was, because I loved it, dude. I don't know what it is. That just was some Charlie Sheen and Major League shit, dude.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Absolutely thought it was the best.
Yes.
Which makes sense. Maybe he's from Cleveland, right? Or is he Cincinnati? I can't remember. He's Cincinnati. Never mind. He's a Reds guy.
We're not living up to the smart. We have to know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We're already off on the bad foot.
Yeah. Well, so what were your predictions as going into the match? Just to start. What do you
honestly, and this is mostly because I don't know a lot about Nagata. I thought maybe that this was going to be some kind of heel type ordeal where Kenny and the Elite come out and they screw over Moxley and he loses the title. But that's not what happened. We just had a good old-fashioned wrestling match. And frankly, I thought it was an awesome match. I loved a lot of the spots. Particularly, I loved the kick spots. Both Moxley and Nagata had great points where they were just like wailing on each other's chest. Which I something I guess they put over was a Nagata specialty. He's known for his kicks, which is cool. Good to know. I love they did this last week too, and I just wanted to point this out that Excalibur, who's my favorite on commentary, no doubt, is put over the fact that Tony Schiavone called Nagata's last American match, and it was 20 years ago on TNT and on WCW.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know, wrestling Ultimo Dragon, and definitely going to go watch that match because I bet it's pretty amazing. But I just thought they mentioned it last week too, and I love when they put over stuff like that. This company is so entrenched in history, and that's a good thing. That's the way that they put over, the history of the business is really cool, and they seem to have a lot of respect for it.
Yeah, and so I similar question. I guess I'd ask you to that effect. If you were the booker, let's say you're the pencil, going into this match, like who do you think benefits, right? Like I mean, clearly this is something that you don't. I don't think anybody in the building's thinking Nagata's walking out, U.S. champion. At least I didn't.
Yeah, and that's a situation I feel like we run into a lot with AEW, but I also feel like sometimes that's just the case with wrestling, when you read a comic book, do you know that Batman's going to get the upper hand every time? Pretty much. He's Batman. That's what he does.
Sure, yeah.
But every now and then they leave you on a cliffhanger, and the Joker has Batman tied up hanging over a vat of acid, and that's how they that's how they end the comic book. That's how they end the episode. So sometimes you don't know what's going to happen, and that's great. And I think we got a mix of that tonight. We got some situations tonight, which we will get onto, that we didn't know what was going to happen. There was a lot of questions, and then a lot of times AEW does a great job subverting your expectations, which I think we'll also find out later in the night.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you go into the night going, three title matches. Your kind of instincts, one's going to change, which we'll get into, but they do play it well where that could not be the case. It could be the case where every match the title changes.
Sure.
I think you made a good point when we talked outside to say that we got a while, at least until some arenas get filled, before they might make the moves, and I think that would be a smart move from the pencil standpoint, or from the booker. But yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. So the match starts out with some forearms to the face. There's a really good Irish whip into Nagata giving a kitchen sink, to which Moxley powders. Really good exchange between control between the two, and you get a lot of Nagata showcasing a lot of kicks and strikes, which they kind of alluded to throughout the match. If you're familiar, I'm sure that's something you'd expect. You mentioned to me during the match that it looked a little stiff. I kind of agreed. I thought it was a little stiff, but I don't know. Did you think that kept up throughout the match? It felt like it got little. It
definitely eased
up
winded,
a little winded towards the end.
Nagata's in his 50s,
like 51. Yeah,
the guy's done his thing and been around the block. I'm sure it lightened up a little bit, but I know they that's how they roll over in New Japan. A lot of guys anyway, and that's why a lot of their matches look so great, and why a lot of their matches are so great, is partially due to their that strong, stiff style that they present, and it's a lot of what we love about dudes like Kenny,
Sure.
And dudes that are getting over right now in AEW is they have that style, and it's really. It blurs the line, and that's what we're all looking for, right? I think at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, also it felt, and someone in the comments could say otherwise, but I thought it was each. I guess maybe because of the strikes and kicks, or how the control was handled throughout the match, it felt like each. I don't know what you'd say, power move, right, had more impact than maybe a normal AEW match, and by that I mean. Anytime there was maybe a suplex off the corner or whatever it might be, Nagata having a reverse drop kick off of an Irish whip or something, it felt like going into the next kind of control felt like it had more impact, and so I thought that part of the psychology was really good. But yeah, so I mean I could go on about that match. What do you want to? Anything else you'd want to cover?
The only other thing I really want to point out is that I loved the ending. It was a really fun match. I would like to point out. I thought it was a great way to open up Dynamite. That's such an awesome match to open up with, as they usually do. And I loved the end. I loved the dual babyface respect. both guys bowing to each other in the middle of the ring. It was very martial arts, and I dig that. It was cool. It was a cool moment.
Yeah, no complaints. The bowing to each other was very was a very good moment. I thought that was cool.
They're fucking samurais, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was very.
It was fucking super cool.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
So next we get a promo from Sammy Guevara, Hager, and Ortiz. I thought it was a good promo. I'd like to see more than just like, and I know I give this gripe more than you probably want to hear, but I don't mind going from match to promo to the next segment, but it'd be nice to have a segment where you're doing backstage stuff that kind of ignores the fourth wall. That's not so much interview.
Dude, stop being a mark. That's what we've been complaining about that in the WWE for years. And years and years and years.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a complaint that I would agree with.
Yeah, it is, dude. Shut up. I've heard you say that shit before.
When it's overdone, sure, but it's and I'm not saying this is a problem they have. I just am saying I'd like to see kind of more of that as opposed to kind of segment.
Do you want somebody to throw somebody in a box and light it on fire? Is that what you want?
Everything that comes out of a box is
do you want what do you want, dude?
Well, let's do this. Because unless you have something else to say, I would say that the next promo.
Hold on. All I want to say, and I just want to say what I wrote down here. Don't interrupt me anymore. I swear to God, don't look at me like that. All I'm trying to get at is Ortiz. Like, let this guy talk more.
Yeah.
Hager's promo is pretty good. Sammy, I don't know what it is about Sammy. Sammy hasn't like just completely blown me away with a promo yet. I love Sammy Guevara, and
doubting the Spanish God.
I'm not doubting the Spanish God. I love the Spanish God. He's going to be a huge star. He is. I'm just, we always, there's always that worry of like, do we have a 1, 2, 3 kid on our hands here? Is this an issue of like this kid can go, but like, do not give him the mic? And I don't think so, because I don't think we've heard anything that bad from Sammy, like even close.
No, I think
Sammy's never going to have
I've heard was
heat.
Outside of AEW, like in a MMA environment. I think it was during.
It was a Bellator fight.
Yeah, it was a Bellator. I think.
Okay.
Other than that, like that was to me was like the only thing I've seen from that was actually like ooh. But I think it was an environment, reasons.
Sure.
But anyway, the next segment, we get a very patriotic in-ring promo from Cody Rhodes. He starts off says, "Take it from an American. The argument is what makes us who we are." I thought that was a really cool quote. That for more personal reasons, it stuck to me. But anything you kind of want to say before I have some quotes in there that I think were pretty good to highlight. But
I literally wrote, dude, just dude.
Yeah, good promo.
I just don't even know. We haven't had just one of those deep cut Cody promos in a minute where it just. I mean, man, I was choking up. You saw me. I got a little choked up by the end of that promo. It's just the way that guy delivers. It's just the things he says. I wrote that it was just that might be the most woke wrestling promo of all time.
Yeah, it is good, man.
Like it just like
I think he's got one of the best, the best mics in the business.
It got all up in my face, dude, and I liked it. I loved it. I thought it was another classic, all time great AEW promo, Cody promo.
Agreed.
It's gonna, people are gonna be marking out over this tomorrow, most definitely. There's this is gonna be. I don't know if this is quite on par with the Ellis Island promo, but it's pretty up there, and it's an interesting way to just kind of put Anthony Ogogo in the limelight like this. Is he ready to go with Cody? Well, that's the real question.
A lot of that's kind of bridging that, which is what the problem I felt like was at the beginning was like, where is he kind of going? And then it led to it pretty well. Especially towards the end, he says, that he will not be fighting, as the American Nightmare.
Dude.
He says, and I quote, "I'm going to pick up a sword, all too heavy. For one night, it will be Anthony Ogogo versus the American Dream, Cody Rhodes."
That's when it got me. That's when it hit me. I choked up. I teared up a little bit, and I was just like, I'm a baby. I can't help it. That's awesome. That's amazing. Here come the cease and desist letters. Mark my words, dude. Cease and desist letters tomorrow morning from.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that.
Did you not?
I mean, I didn't.
Because they're coming, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess I'm
they're a coming, bro. They're a coming.
That's a good point to think about. I'd be interested in what other people think.
It's gonna happen.
What could happen with that, or how they handle that, or if so.
I mean, they've handled everything else thus far, to an extent, but oh man, and they're gonna ruin and you know what? In a way, this is kind of a power move by AEW. I think. I don't know. Maybe the WWE doesn't own the trademark. I'm sure we'll hear all over the dirt sheets what's going on tomorrow. But the point is that this is a little bit of a power move, I think, because it's like, what are you going to do now, WWE? Are you going to look like the biggest pieces of shit that you are, that we know you are, which they're going to do? I mean, dude, we already know that this company that accepts blood money from dictators, they're not shy to throwing cease and desist letters around and suing the pants off people.
Yeah, especially with hand gestures.
And I really think it's coming. And please, in the comments, if you have any kind of thoughts on this, let me know, because I just. It's an interesting way for AEW to play it, but it's like, dude, you can't stop Cody from using his father's moniker, right?
It's not a good look.
That would be a terrible, terrible look, dude.
But
here's the thing: it's not like it really matters. Nobody's gonna stop watching WWE because of it, Oh no,
not
if anything, the adamant fans will defend it.
Yeah, I don't know where my head is on it. I know that it just shouldn't be an issue, and just should be ignored, especially for a one night thing that's declared and such. You should just turn your head. I mean, what does it really hurt you to cast an unnecessary stone, right?
And maybe they'll do the adult thing and let it slide, but. History has shown us otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So next we get a promo from SCU. It's a promo.
It's a promo.
It's good.
Chris Daniels is a legend. Knows how to cut a promo.
And that leads us into them taking on the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Champions. Everyone should know, but if you don't, stipulation being that if SCU loses, that they need to disband forever. What are your initial thoughts going in? I'm going to go ahead and just first off say that I thought Kazarian looked really good in his moments that they kind of let him get his shit in. And I thought the psychology was good in the sense that SCU seemed like they're trying, fighting to stay alive, right? And giving everything they got in a sense. We can get to the botch later, but... What are your initial thoughts going into it?
Dude, don't be that fucking internet guy, dude.
What are your thoughts?
Dude, you're that fucking internet guy, aren't you, dude? You're just going to focus on the fucking botch.
It wouldn't matter about the
Shut
botch.
up, dude.
It wouldn't matter about the botch if this wasn't already kind of an inside joke between Daniels, right? And the botch initially. If we go back in time a little bit, but all that aside, that's just tongue in cheek. But what are your initial thoughts going in, and then how did you feel about the match?
Okay, so I definitely, we talked about this earlier. We kind of know who's going over in this situation. There's no way that SCU is going over here.
So you're already kind of
that doesn't
You're already
necessarily...
looking at it as that's the better way to book it as well.
I think so, yeah. Of course. And that makes sense. And that's just part of the game, so it doesn't really take me out of the match or anything. I just wanted to point that out because it's, I think this is the running theme through tonight, I guess. I really think that when 4 guys like that who have wrestled each other so many times, I don't remember how many times they said, but Excalibur put up the number of the times that SCU has wrestled the Bucks. And I think it's just hard for people like that to have a bad match. And we did not get that. We got a crazed, Ring of Honor style, just Young Bucks versus SCU, madhouse, crazy spot fest. And it was fun, and it was great. And the Bucks have had the titles for 10 weeks now. They've defended it a handful of times, and they keep defending it, which I think is great. That's something that initially was a little bit of a criticism with some of the AEW title holders, and has since been put to bed because people are constantly defending their titles now. I mean, dude, the botch. Why'd you have to go there? Why'd you have to go straight to that?
We can get there.
It was a fun match, dude.
I think that before the botch, we get there. So we have a. I know initially you had said the kind of blood from Daniels looked fake. I am interested in what other
we got some color in that
opinions are. I didn't know if that was kind of a botched blade job at the beginning, and then it seems a little weird. Throw that to the side if we need to. But that was something I was curious on other people's opinions and hearing. But it seemed I'm not convinced they go the WWE route with some capsules or something. I think
ketchup packets.
Yeah, I think it was a weird blade job, but maybe I'm looking too much into it. The one thing I won't say I look too much into, the Kazarian Styles splash, which Excalibur seemed to have no issue calling a Styles splash.
Clash.
Splash. I'm sorry.
Dude.
Sorry.
Dude, you're already embarrassing us, dude.
Yeah, right.
People just tuned out right there. Dude, right there, when you said splash the first time, they were like...
Hey, there you go. That's how you avoid the copyright.
Hold on. Somebody was just like, maybe he said it wrong. And then they realized...
I actually even wrote splash in my notes.
Wow, dude. Wow. He said... And then they realized, no, he knew what he was saying. And they turned our show off right there, dude. So good job losing viewers.
Well, I'll get back the 2 that we have at some point. Hopefully.
Dude, we need those guys, especially.
That's who makes us.
Those are the smart thinking marks, dude.
Yes, deepest apologies to all the marks.
All the AJ Styles marks out there. Who freaked out when Kaz did a fucking Styles clash tonight.
Well, so I would say, I'm sorry, I love you, and mock. That already happened in the match. So,
I loved that.
Yeah, I thought that was good as well.
I would like for people out there in internet land to know that might be me and Mike's favorite spot together, right? I would say if both of you were to agree on our collective favorite spot, it might be the Flares, Michael. I love you.
Yeah. We'll get into the match kind of rating things. That's always a good, I think, example I use with how we have categories for matches and in terms of spots and what spots can mean. But that again, that'll be elucidated on in a future video. We can get into the Daniels botch. I read a dictionary once, and I picked that one. Daniels botch part 2. I have question mark in my notes. We can just skip it. It was a joke. I don't want to be that guy.
You don't want, dude. You're already that guy. You might as well bring it up, dude.
No, I just thought it was funny.
Daniels went for a spot. He slipped and missed it, probably from his bad blade job.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not gonna give him. He probably couldn't see shit. So
or he slipped on his own blood. Either way, when you're 137 years old and you've been entertaining me since I was a teenager, I will give you a pass. It's all good. It's cool. And then he just got the fuck up and he nailed it.
Yeah, it was
happens.
It'll be on Botchamania.
It'll be on Botchamania, and that's fine. That's cool. Sometimes you're on Botchamania. That's okay. We'll be on Botchamania. Is there a Botchamania?
I'm already on
YouTubers?
Botchamania for the Kazarian style splash.
Dude,
so,
yeah. Well,
so
no, you
there.
just lost both of our listeners, so that's
anyway,
cool.
So SCU loses. What do you think goes on for them in the future?
I don't know, man. I think that Daniels, I don't want to say he's on his way out. I think he's on his way to a more backstage role, maybe. I think that there's more he can do helping younger wrestlers at this point than getting himself over. I hate to say that about Christopher Daniels. I love Christopher Daniels. I'm a huge fan. I watched him live at Bound for Glory in 2007, I think, in our fair city of Atlanta, if you were wondering where we're broadcasting from. And, yeah, man, I just, like, I think Kazarian still's got some fire in his belly. He's still in good shape. He can still go. I think he'll do well putting people over, too. I don't really know what's next story-wise for them, but let's see.
They'll give him the... And he's good. He could be a good worker, working the young guys, be a kind of that Christian role for WWE. But, yeah, I hope they give him some push. I'd like to see Kazarian with, like, maybe a TNT title shot at some point down the line, and
it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see him maybe make some kind of run, like as you know, a veteran wrestler.
Sure. So, segue into, speaking of Christian, into yet another promo from Christian Cage.
Okay, dude.
Your thoughts on the
First of all, let's just lay the cards on the table.
Well, let's
here.
fill people in.
You put things so softly. Let's lay the cards on the table.
Oh, I'll lay the cards on the table.
Let's lay the... No, you won't, dude. You don't even know what I mean by that. So first of all...
Who was it that said, I'm ready for... It was one Dynamite that said, when are you going to start outworking everybody? And I laughed. Remember that?
I think it was Kazarian.
It might have been Kazarian. So,
and I think
right?
It's because they heard you and they hear
so those
filthy...
are my thoughts. Summed up is that, like, I love Christian. Don't get me wrong. I already know people are typing, like, fuck you in the comments because Christian's awesome and I shouldn't be giving him the crap. But I don't need 7 fucking promos from this guy. I need 7 fucking awesome matches and me being like, dude, he's fucking back, bro. He came back and did... I sound like goddamn Vince Russo. He's back, bro.
You do sound like Russo.
But no.
You sound like him. You sound like the Morning Star.
I don't know, bro. Maybe I just don't know wrestling, guys. But they don't want to fucking see that, bro. Okay, bro? No, but seriously, I think it'd be better to have, just balls of the wall Christian as opposed to, like, I'll have a few matches. Yes.
How many matches has he had, Mike?
I think he's had 2 or 3, right?
2.
Yeah, this will be 3.
Who are the some guys he's wrestled?
No, I'm talking about this next match.
He's wrestling Matt Sydal.
Yeah.
You didn't even know who that was.
It's some guy.
It's not some guy, dude. He was Evan Bourne.
Yeah, so, for the fans, I've tuned out of wrestling at that point. But nothing against...
He was Evan Bourne.
Yeah, nothing.
He was
nothing
a good
against,
wrestler.
Nothing against him.
He is still a good wrestler, and he's going to have a great match. You can't just, like, Christian can't just go around beating everybody.
No,
trying
I'm
to
not
get people over.
That. But you have, I think you have a lot of talent to work with there, and you can put guys over at the same time having a good match. The winner doesn't have to dictate. I think that's something that wrestling fans always... Like, you win, it always means that you're going over. You buried if you lose. I think that's garbage.
I agree with that.
So I think...
And I don't like agreeing with you.
You can do it. There's a way you can do it. But, it's your choice in, I guess, how things are booked. But I would say, like, they're going to ramp up with him. Tonight I was it's like, I don't want to see another promo.
Well, you got a match from next week. He took up 30 seconds of your time. Maybe, dude.
I never get it back now.
Maybe. You didn't deserve it in the first place. But I think that they're just letting him be Christian Cage. They're setting him up. He's going to end up with a title run at Kenny at some point. He's probably going to put Kenny over because Kenny's the belt collector and he's it's a good scalp for him.
Sure.
I really think that you just got to be patient, man. AEW is a game of patience. It just is.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
what.
can
Listen,
agree with that.
I don't know what your fucking problem is. Basically, is what I'm getting.
Yeah,
At.
it's
You
shit.
just like you sit. You owe it to Christian Cage. You got me stuttering, dude. This happens when I get upset. You owe it to Christian Cage to be fucking patient and sit your stupid mark ass down on the couch.
We should have like a mark bet, and if there's a ratio between interviews and matches after this fucking match is May 30th, right? Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. He has a match next week, dude.
Oh, sorry, that's right.
That's
so
Matt
for
Sydal.
next
And
week.
then I think he has. I'm
Well,
sure they're getting to a match at
if he has
Double or
a
Nothing.
this will be the kicker. If he has only just a promo at Double or Nothing, like like there's gotta be some. I win something. Okay, I don't know what it is, but I win
we'll figure
something.
it out.
Anyway, we'll get into that mess each week, I think, and so we'll get more into the promos.
The moral of the story, though, you hate Christian Cage, and the internet should light you on fire.
For the record, as a kid, No Mercy, I always fucking hated Christian because he'd always come out and he'd always be the guy that interferes in my matches, and so like there is this thing in me that makes me not like Christian, and it's so petty and fucking stupid. So I will admit it, but I think I am doing a good job at separating myself from this. I'll let everybody else be the judge.
You're not.
I'm sure I'm the only one that thinks so, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Next, we got Orange Cassidy versus Pac for the AEW Championship Eliminator match. That's what it was called, right? The Championship Eliminator match.
Number one contender match.
Yeah. So we had an argument at the beginning. I thought it was funny. It was like kind of assuming
here we go.
the winner, what makes most sense. And at the beginning, you were like, it wouldn't make sense for Pac to win in the sense that
why would you go heel?
why would you go heel, right?
You have 4 pay-per-views a year. Why would you go heel in your main event?
So I don't personally see an issue with that. Like, I get the point. I have here. I wanted to put like maybe why you could or how you could elaborate on that from a booking standpoint, which is kind of the way I don't know. I like, since I'll never be one. Maybe that's why I like to just put myself in those shoes.
Sure. That's what this show's for.
I'm just curious on kind of what your thought on that was. But then the match never ended up being that way anyway, right? So I guess it really didn't matter in the long run. But could you elaborate on what would be even a problem with the heel championship? Because now he technically kind of got it in a way anyway. You just have the addition
we don't have
of
it
a
exactly
babyface.
like that. So let's just kind of talk about what happened. First of all, Don Callis should be on commentary all the time, because that shit is just absolutely golden. Love the Invisible Hand. He's a crazy person. This match, first of all, I mean, started out really hot. It was juking and jiving and bumping and running wild. And I was enjoying this match. Don Callis comes out and starts telling Pac that he needs to finish the match. He needs to hurry up. We don't have time for this. Kenny's got to figure out who his opponent is. He's got to start getting ready. And then Kenny, while Aubrey Edwards is distracted, gets the belt and cracks Pac in the head. And this is after Pac's been laying the beat down on Orange for a little bit. So Orange is out in the corner. We get a double count out, which I thought was a really odd finish.
Yeah, I didn't know
still kind of not sure how I feel about it. I'm processing it still. I'm so used to AEW giving me finishes that this one feels weird. But maybe that's part of it. Like I got something. What we're talking about. This is a subversion of expectation, which is something AEW does well. I did not expect a double countout to lead to a triple threat match, which I think is our first triple threat title match in AEW history, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of triple threats.
That's because they're not that great. But I think this one we might have us a good match on our hands. We have 3 guys who can go. I am just shocked though that you don't think that Orange Cassidy should have gone over in that match.
Yeah, so I don't think it really makes sense. Like you build up for double or nothing for Orange Cassidy, and there's nothing against Orange Cassidy, but it's a guy who's
the highest merch mover, selling merch mover in the company. Just throwing that out there.
And so I guess I don't think it's like to say we should give Darby a shot right away, but looking back, like retrospect, it seems like a good way to give the belt prestige for the TNT title is to have him lose to Matt Hardy. That gives a rub for the TNT belt for somebody.
God, you're still salty about that, aren't you?
Well, hold on, let me finish. That gives the rub for the belt. It gives a guy who's got some prestige and won some major titles, right? Gives a certain rub to it. Frees Darby from the belt, and then you have a better potential three-way or better one-on-one babyface match, right? Nothing against Orange Cassidy, but when I look at it from a perspective of who deserves it, I don't put Cassidy in that role. Call me fucking, bitter on it, but it's nothing against him. He's fucking awesome. I love his the ability to just kick in and fucking kick ass. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it seems like okay, clearly he doesn't go over on Omega, right? It just seems like it writes itself, as opposed to a Darby thing. It's like, oh, okay, maybe Darby they can just give it to this kid and give it push. And so that's kind of my thought process, I guess.
Or maybe Orange and Kenny put on an insanely hot match like we know they're gonna. And everybody marks out and we all go home happy. I'm sorry. This whole business is predicated on insane madness happening in the middle of the ring and these wild characters. Orange Cassidy is one of the best characters in professional wrestling today.
I would absolutely agree with that.
And I don't see any reason to not give him a push. I think he's done nothing but give us golden moments. I'm sorry, dude. If you didn't enjoy the Arcade Anarchy match, like, if you didn't pop when Sue pulled up in the van, we don't have anything to talk about.
I loved all of that. As an arcade owner, I loved all of it.
He comes out to the Pixies. That's awesome. That's the best. Everything about this guy, just pops me. And I'm so tired of people shitting on Orange Cassidy. I'm tired of the Jim Cornettes of the world talking about this guy ruining the business. A guy fucked a dead body on TV, and we all watched it. An 85-year-old woman got powerbombed off the stage into some tables. And we all marked out a little bit inside.
And that same one birthed a hand.
And the same woman birthed a hand. What do you want, dude? This guy's whole gimmick is he's just kind of lazy. And you're just like,
you're not giving Mae Young a title shot.
Dude, whatever, dude. You're still putting her on fucking TV every week. And she couldn't go. If she could go like Orange Cassidy, I'd say do it. I don't know what to tell you.
Someone's got to be the heel on this podcast, and so I will stick to the fact that I think everything's fine. I don't fault AEW here. I just think there's an eraser on the pencil for a reason, and I think they should have used it. They should have backed it all the way up to the TNT title, from my perspective.
Well, are you okay with the three-way at least? Can you at least acknowledge that they gave you a subversion of your expectation?
I like that. I guess the ending of tonight adds more of, and this is only according to me, right, what I would do, which is not what any time they're probably never going to do. But I don't know I give it to Miro right away, as opposed to someone like Matt Hardy or someone.
Well, I think you're jumping the gun a little bit, but okay.
Well, no, I just think that
we'll get to that.
We'll get there, right? But when you add that, what we see at the end of the night, then I'm like, we could only back up and do that and put fucking Darby in this match. That'd be really cool to me. Yeah. But
here nor there, we'll get to that. I'm saying we'll get to that point in the podcast. Let's. Point is, I thought this was a fun match, and sure. I liked the finish because it wasn't what I expected, and and then Tony. I thought Tony interrupting Callis and And Omega was a little weird, like
it always reminds me of like Nitro back in the day.
Oh, I think that's the point.
Yeah,
man.
it just always
they're
gives you
counting
that
on your
vibe,
nostalgia,
which I don't mind too much. But yeah, I get you. It's a little strange.
But it's fine. It's fine. I like it. I love Tony Schiavone, so
yeah,
I'm not gonna complain about Tony being on my TV.
Yep, and that'll put us into the Bucks promo. Well, I guess just Matt challenging the Hollywood.
Well, and you
Blondes.
skipped over this earlier, but there was a brief segment where Moxley and Kingston totally trashed the Elite's locker room.
That's true. Yes, we did.
So we show up to the Elite, just the Bucks and the Good Brothers. Chilling, angry.
Yeah. Bucks ask. Well, then that's like ways into Bucks ask Mox and Kingston what they're doing, inviting them to a quote super kick party. Your thoughts on what that entails? I mean, pretty obvious, I guess. But
so
stuff you can do with it.
Sometimes I think with AEW and wrestling in general, things can be easy. Things can be super easy.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of heat with Moxley and Kingston and the Jackson boys. God, who doesn't love a good old car running into some shit spot, which we got a couple weeks ago. That was awesome. Mm-hmm. The Bucks call out the Varsity Blondes, who's a great young tag team. Brian Pillman Jr., Griff Garrison, both of them insanely talented. Going to be the tag champs one day. Probably have pretty incredible singles careers too. Call them out, and Matt Jackson just lightened Brian Pillman Jr. up. You want to be like your daddy? That was cold. So, and I wrote this down too. I wanted to point out, man, I was not super hot on the Bucks turn, but just because I was so into like the Bucks being these over baby faces, these super ultra omega baby faces.
Yeah, that never really worked for me. I guess.
See, I loved it.
Kind of.
I came in a little late though. I learned about the Bucks through AEW, and so I only knew of super babyface Cody. Well, not Cody, but super babyface Kenny, super babyface Bucks, super babyface Hangman. But this one really I think is the one that like put me all. I'm slowly been starting to dig it. This is the one that put me all the way over. You really just said some mean shit, and that's great. That's just the best. That's how you get heat, and I thought that was awesome. And it's super easy because now
Christian boys.
Yeah, a couple of selfless Christian boys who don't be selfish now.
Yeah.
And it's super easy to set up, like going full circle, to just set up a match for next week with the Varsity Blondes. Let's start with the number one contenders. This is why the rankings are there.
Yeah, and I love the Blondes being invoked in that.
Yeah,
so that's
and then you set up a tag title match at the Double or Nothing. No problem. Mox and Kingston versus the Jackson boys, them Jackson boys. And it's as easy as that. And I enjoyed that segment. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it'll be a three-way tag ladder match type of thing. It's kind of my thought process. I don't know if I missed anything in the show that they said specifically. But if it was left the way that I thought I had heard it, then that's kind of where my head was thinking they might go.
I think would be wishfully Mark thinking.
Would be cool. It'd be cool. I think it'd be fucking cool. I think it would.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Or some kind of maybe hardcore or something. I don't know. Anyway, get a Hangman Dark Order promo. It's a decent promo. I liked the little joke at the end with
I think
the Double or Nothing.
Johnny Hungy.
Yeah, that was a little funny.
I just think that everything that those guys do together is hilarious, and I don't think I've not enjoyed a Hangman Dark Order moment since they started being around each other so much, and it's just been super fun. I love the beginning. He goes, Hangman Marvez says, Hangman, you've dropped from 1 to 5. And 5, and the back goes, oh, it's okay, Hangman. It's not so bad being 5. That shit cracked me up, dude.
Yeah.
I love these goofy dad jokes they throw in there. And yeah, man, I mean, just good work all around. Hangman might be my favorite professional wrestler today. He's just very, very good at both cutting serious and hilarious promos, getting shit over, and might be my favorite worker too. I never do not enjoy Hangman in the ring, so
Yeah.
it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, I think you just you're just being so like negative. You're like, I mean, it was okay. Like, what's your deal, dude? It was fun.
But
Do you not like fun?
the promo?
Yeah. Do you not like fun, Mike?
No, the promo's fine. I will point out that there are 5, I think, promos that will lead us up into the MJF promo. Now, it is going to be contrary to kind of what I said at the beginning. I actually don't mind when promos are stacked like that. It kind of gives you a breather maybe in the match department, so to speak. So I wasn't too angry at that.
The matches get super hot, dude. Like,
Yeah, I gotta cool it down. And
that's what happens.
Yeah.
The AEW is nothing but hot matches almost every time.
The MJF promo I thought was great. The only thing that we'll get into is Tully's moments in there. I thought were, I don't know how to describe it. He had a line that I wrote down. He said, "You got MJF and his crown," and I didn't know like if that was on purpose because that was like a very Jericho type of line, but I didn't know if it was just a real like live blunder, you know.
I don't
which is
know,
more
man.
kind of what it felt like to me, but anyway, we can get into that. What do you think about MJF's promo, and then the watches?
What we have here is the Pinnacle's coronation after what was an amazing blood and guts match last week. Heard Vince McMahon super upset about it. I believe the exact quote was, "This set wrestling back." I don't know if it's definitely Vince that said it, but the word around the street is that Vince is upset, and somebody made the comment that this set wrestling back 20 years. Yeah, again, fucking a dead body on live television.
Yeah,
It's blood and guts. So just wanted to point that out, that it is this. This is totally what's setting wrestling back. But I just, man, this probably is where the episode slowed down the most for me. And that's kind of weird because normally I love anything that MJF touches. I feel like they probably should have just left the mic with MJF probably the whole time, and everything would have been fine. But they decided not to, and that's cool too. They let Tully be a little bit weird and old.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die during that promo.
I thought he might be having a stroke or something, but he didn't, and that's good. Let's all be thankful for that. I really think that they, here we hear meep, 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 and here comes Sammy and Ortiz and Hager. And you said it before they even pulled up. You're like, Jericho's in the back. And I was like, no, he's not. There's no way. They're leaving him off TV. And as soon as I said that, he popped out of the back.
Yeah, and in fairness to my amazing Nostradamus insight, you could kind of see him poking out. It was so I just glimpsed. I was like, what is that moving? I was like, that's Jericho. The bubbly shower, I don't know. I think I've just seen that too many times. But
You've seen it 2 other times.
I'm just talking about wrestling in general.
Yeah, you've seen it 2 other times. You saw Austin do it to McMahon, and then Angle do it to Austin with the milk truck.
I'd be willing to make a mark bet that there's more times than that.
Okay, well
we'll put it on the board.
It's on the board. I guess it's just like, I will say, yeah, I as much as it pains me, I will agree with you on that. I thought it was a little bit, I think it's more that it wasn't like the craziest like stream of champagne, and it was kind of the same, not the same caliber, but the same as the sparklers at the end of the barbed wire death match. It was kind of like,
Yeah, I kind of got that. Yeah,
you know, it was like, oh,
could have been.
yeah, was it? But it led us to MJF accepting a rematch with the Inner Circle, and he lays down the stipulation of a rematch of the Stadium Stampede match that the Inner Circle lost last year to the Elite and Matt Hardy. And if the Inner Circle loses, they are broken up forever.
Yeah, and so what are your thoughts going in there? I'm trying to think that the Inner Circle actually probably prevails in this.
You know,
and then I'll take a hot take and say that they disband anyway.
oh,
I don't know why. I just can see that being a thing.
I would say that the Inner Circle just loses because it's time to do something different with all of those guys. I really do. I mean, I love the Inner Circle. I think they've been great. I think they're a lot better as a heel faction. I am enjoying their babyface run for sure, but I think it wouldn't be the end of the world if we split them up. And
Yeah.
I think it's time for Sammy Guevara to stretch his wings.
Yeah, to be serious, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious when you make the stipulation. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, to be serious, yes.
And we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that'll be that should be a pretty good match. So, Britt Baker interview with JR. I really liked how long the past Brit is definitely a different Brit than the Brit of today. And I know my gripes with that at the beginning. I was like, dude, they need to help her really badly.
You know what?
And now it seems like she gets it. You know,
just like every other fucking Cheeto finger mark, tapping his keyboard like a fucking idiot on the internet, are impatient.
Dollar store cheese puffs, I would say.
Whatever, yeah, because you broke a hail too.
Patreon smart.
Because I broke a hail too. I really think that everybody just needs to chill out and be patient with AEW. Period. Plain and simple. It's just
she's a good example.
And when you are patient, AEW rewards you. I think Alvarez pointed that out to me. And Britt Baker is indicative of what AEW does. They let people grow. And even when they slam their face into the ground and they just completely screw shit up, they just brush it off and they move forward. They address it. I think
Don, quick, 69 me, 69 me,
dude. And
that
all
alone made that okay for me.
And all is forgiven. The the Sparkler show is forgiven. And you know what? Whatever, dude. Britt Baker was new. She's literally is a dentist. Did you know that? Britt Baker's a dentist?
I wasn't aware, but something gave me a hint.
Yeah. I just think that you got to be patient with people like that. And look at her cutting the promos she's cutting. Now look at the matches she's had recently. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think this is all very indicative of what AEW is and what they do. And what they do well, and what they're going to continue doing well, which is building big stars. And we have Britt Baker, who's probably going to win the title at Double or Nothing, facing Shida. And then it looks like I
think that's the move.
It looks like old Tessa Blanchard might step in there, and we'll see what happens then. We'll see if she actually shows up. I heard it's all but a done deal, but
yeah, I really hope they keep the momentum going and with what they're doing here. I mean, with Britt, I think it's fine, but just with the women's division in that sense, in general, it seems that they got.
If Tessa Blanchard comes in, do you put the belt on her?
A lot of good ideas.
Right away?
No, not right away, but you do. I mean, you got to give Britt some power with it, I think. Comes down to, I don't know, you could go WWE and hot potato like Charlotte or however, I think 2016 or 17 or whatever, but I don't think that does you any good for the longevity of the belt. But I don't know. That's a good question. I think that's a really good question. I think speaking of good, at least good wrestlers in that division, Thunder Rosa has a squash match with. I didn't get the name of who it was. I feel bad.
Jobber Girl number 46.
Yeah, there you go. Jobber Girl number 46.
Sorry, whoever.
She's had like
are.
9. Said she had 9 matches.
Yeah, sorry, I can't remember your name.
So I feel bad.
Somehow you caught her record, but not her name.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
What, dude?
I'm better with numbers than I am.
Clearly,
people's names, I guess.
Apologies.
Well, clearly when I say splash and I can't say fucking clash.
Yeah, you hear. Please don't be offended. You hear the way this show is being run.
Yeah. Licks Dexia, as our friend Cody would say.
Liz Dexia.
Yeah, so I'm glad that AEW's keeping the squash alive in that sense. It seems, some people are like, you don't need that. I do. I think it's good. As a kid, when I watched, having matches like squashes like that made me feel like that person was, it meant something, I guess, and something like it wasn't just some match. It was like, holy shit, like. They kick their fucking ass, Yeah. So I think that's good for maybe younger audience or people that like that type of thing. Anything you want to say on the Thunder Rosa squash match? I mean, probably keep it as short as the match.
Yeah, It's always nice to see Thunder Rosa on my TV screen. They're alluding to her getting back to her NWA title. They're also alluding her getting the AEW title, and it's just like, look. And I just want to quick jump back. I just want to say that the one thing that Britt said that like really rung out to me, she said, "I am the pulse of this division," and that's true, man. She's the pulse, And if we can get Tessa Blanchard in there, I mean, just think of those 4 names right there: Sheeta, Tessa, Britt, and Thunder Rosa, and that's a stout core of lady wrestlers. And Ty Conti, throw her into the mix.
Sure.
Abaddon's weird as hell, but I think she can go. So if you want to throw Abaddon in there and let her fucking do some weird shit, cool. Riho's always fun. I mean, we have a lot of these Joshi, Japanese Joshis in there. There's plenty. Jade Cargill is going to be a huge star. Red Velvet's sick. She's already shown that she can throw down. It's the women's division is looking up in AEW big time, and I think we're gonna get some really impressive matches out of a lot of those women very soon. I think it's look at the way Tay Conti is being treated compared to where she was in NXT.
Yeah,
and it's just it's a night and day. So that's all I really want to
It's like comparing a Chevy to an apple, but yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's not even apples to oranges with NXT to AEW from my perspective. But anyway, leave your hate comments if you're an NXT.
Stupid WWE marks.
No, and don't get us wrong. I love all wrestling, but there's just a clear difference from my perspective on who handles the roster better, who handles the pencil better, who handles longevity better in terms of booking. And there's so much more there. Though I am increasingly liking more stuff on SmackDown than I have in recent past, I guess.
That's a subject.
But that's a different time. So finally, we get Darby versus Miro for the TNT Championship. But first, we get a package from Darby, which I thought was a cool little package. Again, what are your thoughts going into the match? This is a good one to kind of get your opinion, because you actually had mentioned to me before you had left the room for a second before the match started. You said, I'm wondering if they'll pull the trigger to change hands. Wasn't sold that it would happen. So we'll get there, but what are your thoughts going into it, and then with that perspective?
So going into this match, I really thought that this could go either way. I really truly thought that there was just because the thing is, man, Darby's on this hot run. Darby's your next big star. I mean, he's your homegrown guy now, and you gotta keep him strong. And the problem with that is Miro looks like a character from Street Fighter. He's a mammoth of a human being. And you brought him into your company as this guy who was just, I mean, was he buried in the WWE? Like, that's tough to say. He was super over, but he just wasn't.
It was a landscape of peaks and valleys.
Yeah, and it's like you have this dude who's super over, and John Cena, I guess, kind of beats him, and then you just put him in this fucking embarrassing ass storyline where you're making his wife make out with some other jacked dude on TV, like, and that can't be comfortable. I don't care who you are. I think, as much as I love the insane madness that is professional wrestling, maybe don't do that to another person if they don't want.
Sure, yeah.
Even for the sake of a story, because it's like the point is that fucking storyline wasn't even worth that.
Well, how about with this? Do you think the build between them was done right this time in that way? Because
to Miro and Darby.
Yeah,
look, man, the build is and this it's as you said, different landscape. The build of this isn't so much a storyline thing as much as it's a long-term story that's being told from several different perspectives, man. Mm-hmm. Miro is the new dog in this company. He's kind of not doing anything. The internet's chirping. And the reason I was curious what's going to happen is AEW has a tendency to listen to what the internet is saying and then pulling the trigger on it. And the big complaint was like, what are we doing with Miro? We're not doing anything with Miro. This Kip Sabian shit is stupid. We kept waiting for him to go ape shit on Kip, which he finally did. And here we are. And I fucking loved this match, dude.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, this match was off the hook.
We'll start at the beginning. The pace, right? It's just immediately Darby getting mauled on, right?
So, yeah.
How
long
someone
did
could
they
say
go?
That's cliche, but it's like that's clearly what you got to do. But they did it in a way where it was like, no, this is the psychology you need for the match, and they're doing it in a really good way.
And how long did they go before the bell?
Yeah, before the bell, it was, I'd want to say like 3 minutes, maybe
3 to 5.
3 to 5, yeah, somewhere around there. I loved like the intensity from Miro. I mean, obviously it's what you're gonna get, but it felt important this time. Can we talk about that Suicida?
Dude, there was a couple of spots where I just felt like Darby... Dude, and just step back a little bit. This was a stiff fucking match, okay?
It was.
I don't care who you are.
Darby takes the brunt
This shit was stiff, dude. These guys tacitly agreed in the back to beat the piss out of each other, and they fucking did. And that, to your point, that might be the sickest Suicida we've seen in AEW.
Yeah, there was a smack on that man, it was.
I mean,
it was as loud as Pax kind of, because I've just noticed that dude slaps the shit out of his leg when he does like a drop kick or something.
Yeah,
or
a big sound, that shotgun drop kick.
That's what it is.
He
yeah,
nails it.
And that to me was like that was a full impact of that same kind of forced smack, man. Right? It was insane.
Yeah, I just that was a gnarly tope suicida.
Yeah, do you like this? What do you think about psychology and how they kept it going, at least from the point from the match actually starting?
I thought it was great, and I'm a huge fan of smaller baby faces, and that's why I don't like people who say that your big monsters have to be your champions and have to be over all the time. Because I'm a fan of like smaller champions and smaller baby faces, like being smart to try to get over on people, and that's been Darby's whole bag. I think this was his 6th straight title defense. They referenced that this is his 10th title defense. This was his 6th one straight in a row, I believe, 5th or 6th. Darby, who obviously is somebody they very much believe in, has main evented every week on Dynamite for a month now. And I think that's, again, it's just what AEW does. They just are they put their faith in somebody and they let him run it. I say that as we come to the end of this match here, but all things being considered, I think that Darby has been a great TNT champion and has done nothing but put on awesome matches and made that belt. He put prestige on the belt.
He did, yeah, he did.
He did. He made it the work. He made it the work rate belt, dude.
That, I don't want to knock and say that
it's their IC title. Like it's the work rate belt.
Agreed. And so, yeah, I'm not mad. Like given the circumstances, like I have no problem with Miro going over on this. I did look over at you, and your face was.
I was shocked.
Yeah, you definitely were.
As much as I didn't know who was going to win, I really was shocked. I thought that they would put over Darby, but again, a subversion of expectations, and I just feel like...
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I actually kind of
like that.
Yeah,
it's cool. And you know what? We're doing something with Miro now. We're doing something with Miro. We're going to see what happens. We are going to see what happens.
Now, to clarify on what I was saying at the beginning, in context of this being Darby and Miro, I'm okay with Miro going over, right? But I will stand to the point that I said that, if I had booked it one way or not, I think if you're getting the belt off Darby anyway, if their plan is to push him a little bit higher in the stratosphere, then man, I think that would have been a good job to do it with Matt. I don't mind it being Miro, but just to get him in that three-way dance, maybe that's just me.
I think that Matt Hardy and Darby Allin should stay the fuck away from each other, and let me tell you why. Because Darby is gonna be like, it actually is more that Matt is gonna go to Darby and be like, hey, let's have a fucking another crazy hardcore match. All right, let's throw some thumbtacks in it this time. All right, this time I'm going to take a giant bump off a ladder. And that's what's going to happen if Darby and Matt get into anything, dude. So let's avoid that. Because that fucking match they had was already kind of fucking wild. I was glad nobody came out of that one, seriously injured.
Someone, or anyone, you mean specifically Darby, because he was
Matt too, because Matt is notorious for throwing himself around,
Sure, I just think Darby's like, fuck it, I'll take the biggest.
He certainly did and has. And I guess it's more that I just don't want to see Matt Hardy get hurt anymore.
Sure.
But Matt, you've bled for me enough. I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing now. I like money, Matt. It's fun. You seem protected.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I man.
I just think it would have worked with that TNT title around his belt.
Yeah, and maybe, dude. But I think that we and listen, man. Listen, man.
Think about it. Everybody, just think about it. Add some value to it.
Adding value to Miro has the belt. Has held the title, and now added a ton of value.
They've been done. They're wrong with it. I would say. I just think that this kind of contingent thing could have been different. And
you're a fucking Matt Hardy, Mark, and you wanted to see it on Matt Hardy. I get it. Everybody fucking gets it, Mike.
It's really not even a I'm a Matt Hardy, Mark.
Yes, you are.
Because I'm not as much, but it's, I don't know. It's just I think it just works for both of them. It's a thing that goes, hey, this works out really well for Matt, or I mean for the TNT title specifically. It's more so that Matt doesn't need the title. It's that the title kind of needs him, or at least to keep that ramp up going. And on the other end, you free Darby, because you're not going to give him a world title shot with a TNT belt. I mean, you could do that, but I don't think you'd do that with a guy like Darby.
Look,
this
man,
this early.
I think at the end of the day, we had to do something with someone, and you expected one thing and another thing happened. And dude, again, like, don't be a fucking mark. Like, Darby's gonna go after his title again. That's just gonna happen. That's what Darby does. He goes for the belt. He comes back, and that's what he's gonna do this time. So just get ready for that. We're gonna get a couple more Miro Darby matches for sure, and they're probably gonna be barn burners just like this one was. I think this is so far a potential match of the year candidate. At least for Dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. Yeah, I would say, could be.
The WWE has pumped out a couple of good matches this year, but,
Yeah, I think there's some some ones that would win out over it, but sure, I would give it a contender spot.
Sure.
Yeah, and so I guess that ends that Dynamite. That is a fucking massive episode.
God, dude, I know. I just we probably rambled on for a while about that, huh?
Well, so I mean, and I did a mistake at the beginning to say that this is the overly analytic, smarky, think we know everything.
Dude, if you're watching our channel, like, fuck you. You already are into this shit.
Yeah.
We're up at 2 o'clock in the morning after a Dynamite. Get over it.
Yeah, we will try to do these every week and get a week review. We're also going to do match reviews where we kind of have a system that we've developed that kicks Meltzer's 7-star rating. I think we bumped ours to 10.
That's right.
More stars, the better.
That's right.
So we'll have those videos out. And anything you want to add, I guess, before we sign out?
I won.
This wasn't a contest.
I still won. You're a stupid mark. Everyone out there, you're probably stupid marks, but thanks for listening. Like, share, and subscribe on all our shit. And come back. We'll be here. We'll be here next week, too.
Not a winner.
I won.
Okay.
I won.
In the comments, someone will say
I won.
Who won if there is such a winner. I have a feeling they'll side with you.
That's right. Because you're a stupid mark.
Anyway, guys, much love. Thank you for anyone that even stayed this far into it. Much appreciated. And we will see you guys soon. Peace out.
Deuces.